Hotep, Black Power, giving honor and respect to the creators, the ancestors, all our brothers and sisters, and to you all, the black family. May we all strive for liberation and salvation in the black nation. Today, I'm a little disturbed about some things, and what I want to talk about is something that happened early this morning, 1 o'clock this morning, where the 8 people were shot in Washington, D.C. early this morning. And the reason, I bring this up, I brought this particular issue up because I know one of the individuals who was wounded. There was 7 wounded, 1 passed. And it just goes to show, I want people to actually know this. This is the whole purpose of me doing this, is to show that Washington, D.C. ain't shit. Washington, D.C., the political realm here, is structured around global white supremacy. This is the mecca of global white supremacy on the planet, Washington, D.C. Don't be fooled by the Capitol and the monument and these museums and shit. And you see the subways and, FedEx Stadium and all this type of bullshit and the Smithsonian. Do not be fooled. That's just a distraction. When you see this shit in movies and on television, excuse me, don't be distracted by that. Because they never show you the real Washington, D.C. That's full of murder, mayhem. Where the majority of the heterosexual black males, are disenfranchised, strung out on dope, unemployed, homeless, and among a bunch of other things. Don't be distracted by this bullshit. Because it's just an illusion. And we should have known that. Excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. I had to take care of something temporarily. However, like I was saying, when you see, not just the black males, the black population in Washington, D.C., period, where 38,000 of blacks, each night in Washington, D.C. literally sleep on the streets of Washington, D.C. And no one has mentioned, the missing children. No one has mentioned the missing children up to this day. Now they're talking about they're coming up with some type of website, directed and exclusively for missing children, primarily in Washington, D.C. What the fuck is a website gonna do to prevent these babies being snatched, thrown in vans, taken to these John Hopkins, taken to Psychiatric Institute of Washington, taken to NIH, taken to Fort Meade, to these FEMA internment camps? Either to be traded in the sex ring, child sex ring, demelanated and de-organed. Like I told you, there was one case in Washington, D.C. where a young man was de-organed. All his organs was taken out of him, as well as his bones. And his bones were replaced with pipes, plastic pipes, sink pipes. And there's nothing said, there's nothing done about this shit. You know, and you niggas, you know, this is what gets me. Y'all continue to say that we should not fight, we should not stand up, we should get a pencil and paper, you know, and beg Congress and beg these motherfucking crackers for assistance. How can you beg somebody for assistance? The same people that you're begging for assistance are the motherfuckers that's doing it. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me at all, you know, to be doing that bullshit. What makes sense to me is 20,000 melanated brothers and sisters take the streets and go downtown, starting with City Hall, get the mayor's ass, get her bulldyke ass up out there, you know, and make some motherfucking changes. Get some bills changed, get some shit written today. Go in the motherfucking budget, the federal and the city budget, and develop a building to house previously newly released inmates from prison, another homeless shelter, 2 treatment facilities, a free breakfast program, a food bank the size of Walmart, where no one goes hungry, everyone has a place to stay, and everyone is able to and willing and ready to work, and lift the restrictions on this convicted felon bullshit. All of these things are just walls that white supremacy has built to prevent the black man from being and feeling like a man and taking care of his family and being the head of the household. You know, this is just these just diabolical schemes, you know, to dissect and destroy the black family. Because without the black male, without the head of the household functioning on the highest frequency he can possibly function and taking care of his family at the same time and his queen, nothing will work in the black community. You're going to always have confusion. You're going to always have chaos. You're going to always have sexual abuse. You're going to always have incest, drug addiction, violence, black on black crime, and self-hatred at the highest form imaginable. So, you know, we need this bullshit needs to cease. This bullshit needs to cease immediately. I mean immediately. You know, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, you know, immediately. All this shit needs to stop. You know, enough is enough. You know, where we can take but so much. You know, how much more can the black community take before it erupts? And like I always say, for those who do not wish to participate in the liberation of the black nation, please step back. You know, and the reason why I call you men cowards that are not willing, if you're not willing to die for your seeds and die for the generations behind that's coming, you just a fucking coward. You know, the black community, you know, and I'm speaking for the real soldiers. You know, we have had enough of just allowing this bullshit to take place with no response. You know, like I said, 8 people were shot. This is in one shooting. Not citywide. I'm not counting citywide. There were more people shot in other parts of the city, but I'm just talking about this particular incident where 8 people were shot, 1 dead as we speak. And also the missing children that have not been found yet. And you don't, in Washington D.C. news, they never talk about the missing babies. And I'll give you a clear example. Each day, this is not an isolated incident. This is each fucking day. If a black man is shot and killed in the streets of Washington, they will talk about that shooting for approximately 20 seconds. We have, me and the Queen and others have timed this shit. They will spend 5 times as much airtime. They will spend 5 times as much airtime on a missing crackers motherfucking dog than they will a black man just laying in the street with a yellow sheet over him. And this is every single day. This is every single day. And DC News is a Republican. The Washington Post, Fox 5 is a Republican, right-wing, white supremacist motherfucking newspaper. Owned and ran by the Graham family, who have been major motherfucking what would you call major motherfucking impactors of white supremacy in Washington D.C. And we don't say anything. You know, and for those who just say, oh, don't worry about it, it's not important. Have that same mentality. This is what I'm saying. Keep that same mentality when your child is murdered or missing. I want you to hold that same mentality. When they ask you, when they put you on the news, just say, oh, it don't matter. We have mothers right now grieving. They don't know where their babies are. And what do the black men do? What are the uncles and the brothers, you know, and the fathers and the grandfathers and the nephews of these babies? Where are you at? When I took the streets to Washington, D.C., when this first made news headlines, I took straight to the streets. And I was ignored. People made up different, talked about different, skipped the subjects. People were afraid to talk, afraid to go in front of a camera. But you're not afraid to go in front of a liquor store camera. You're not afraid to go in front of a camera that's on the at the traffic light, on top of a traffic light at the intersection that you're buying your motherfucking dope at. But when it comes to participating in our liberation, all of a sudden, nah, you don't like cameras and it's hot and all. I don't want to be on the news and all this shit. You on the news 17 hours of the day. Only time you're not being watched with a motherfucking camera is when you're shitting. And that's questionable depending on what type of phone you go to the bathroom and shit with. Because most of you take your phone to the shit bowl. You know, I mean, what is it going to take? You know, I've you know, for the last, I guess 15 years, close to 14, 15 years, I've tried to connect with various organizations in the city. You know, we get, and everybody links up, and then when we get to a certain point where it's time to step to motherfucking officials and the fucking gatekeepers, everybody backs out, or either they are connected with them. You know, and I'm not saying every single person. No, that would be idiotic of me to even think that. But it's a lot of you just who want to get down, but you don't know where to go. You haven't heard about various organizations and movements and individuals that are trying to link up, you know, and make the proper moves to put it in. This shit can be ended. All it takes is for everybody to stand up and get up, you know, and fight for these children like it's their own children. That's all you have to do. And not only that, that will prevent your children from being in harm's way. I don't understand it. You know, and then y'all wonder why, you know, not only just me, but other people use so much profanity on their video clips and be so, you know, so passionate and fiery about the things that they say. It's because of shit like this. How can some of y'all sleep when y'all know these babies, you can literally hear these babies screaming with these goddamn old white men you know, sodomizing them. You know, having anal sex with 12 and 13-year-olds. These 40 and 50-year-old men. And then they cutting them open, taking their fucking kidneys and livers and hearts out. Some of them while they still alive. But you can get some sleep. You can just, you know, it's nothing to you. The shit doesn't mean nothing to you. You know, and it's a price you'll pay for that too. Because it's not like you don't know. It's not like you don't know. So, I'm going to get back with you all. We're going to discuss some more because I'm getting ready to hit the streets. I'm going to go out. I'm never going to give up. You know, I'm going to go out and, you know, see what solutions I can come up with. See if I can link up with some people. For those who want to link up, you know, and also do some building, you know, break bread and come up with some solutions and let's move in on this situation. You all know my number. You know, I'm available 24 hours a day. Hotel, Black Power.